Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be reviewing the Airbrush Flawless Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury. I got a little sample size of it, and the shade that I will be wearing today is 7.5 Neutral. This is not my shade by any means. I would say I'm more of an 8 Warm. You guys will see that this foundation is significantly lighter, but I made it work. So if you guys want to see how this wears and what my thoughts are, then let's go. Good morning. So I'm going to start off by using my NARS Smoothing and Protect Primer. And I'm finding that my pores are looking a little larger. I don't know why. I am so tired, guys. My son is kind of having a moment again. A setback. And I don't know if it's because I'm like back to work full time. I don't know what it is, but Mama is having a hard day today. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go in with my concealer, and I'm going to take the Smashbox Light Medium Warm Golden Concealer. I have really been loving the Smashbox concealer. You guys know that for a minute I was talking about Smashbox and Makeup Forever, and this is the one that I'm using. I'm almost out of it actually, which is okay because I have concealers I need to go through. I'm gonna try and take the stopper out of this though because there's still product left. I'm gonna go in with my Juno & Co sponge and just blend this out. Alright, so I'm gonna go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. This is a little mini, and this is in the shade 7.5 Neutral. This looks like it's going to be a little light for me, but we are going to make it work. I'm going to use it with some bronzer, and we'll figure out how to make it work. Sometimes, you know, you're dealt cards, and you got to just figure out how to hustle through it. I've also seen that this foundation tends to darken a little bit once it dries. So I'm hoping that that's the case. I'm going to use this Refer number 4 brush. I'm going to use my Juno & Co sponge on this side, which already, look at how it stretches that foundation. So I already knew that it was probably going to be too light for me. I do have a little bit of a tan left. But on top of that, looking at the pictures, yeah, this is light. I knew that I was probably going to be like an 8 Warm. She doesn't have an 8 Neutral, or at least that I've seen. I'm going to go in with a little bit, one more pump. That was one pump that I did on my face. Now I'm going to go in with another pump. Yeah, this is really light. So on Sephora, I saw that she had an 8 Warm and an 8 Cool, but not a Neutral. Otherwise, I think that I would have been on an 8 Neutral. But this is definitely too light for me. The coverage is very nice, so I will say I want to say that I was content with one pump. Ooh, this is like ghostly. But I just really wanted to see how it built up. And honestly, I think that it's built up pretty well. I'm going to let this dry down. I'm going to do my hair, my eyebrows, mascara, and then we'll come back and finish the rest of the face. It's still really light. I'm going to go in with my Fenty powder in Banana, and I'm going to use this to set my foundation, and then I'm going to go in with a darker powder. So I want to use the Jouer powder in Tan because it is just a little bit darker, and I need something at this point to kind of help darken this foundation. I find that on my skin, it really didn't darken. It didn't change There's no shift in the color. It looks exactly the same. And it's dry. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm palette. I'm going to go in with a bronzer. Let's see if I can add some color to this pale face. Honestly, if I wasn't running short on time, I would probably take this off because this looks really pale. I know I'm gonna make it work. I've been in situations where my foundation doesn't work out and I know how to make it work, but it just means it's gonna take me a little bit longer. I'm gonna go in with a mixture of these blushes. I still look really pale. So now I'm going to take my Jouer powder in tan, and I'm going to apply this with this Sonia Kashuk powder brush. And I'm just going to use this to buff it all over my face. So just so you guys know, this is typically what I would do. I wouldn't necessarily say I would use the same products, but being that the foundation was so much lighter, look already, it looks so much better. I had to go in with shades that were going to be slightly darker, but the process is still the same. I want to make sure that we're sticking to something that would give this foundation a fair chance. I may end up using it again because I didn't get good sleep last night, and that means that my skin will definitely show it, although I'll tell you guys right now, as it stands, it doesn't look bad. Typically, after a sleepless night or a night of being out, my skin looks really dry. It looks textured, and you guys know I don't have texture. My pores look humongous. So that's why I did use that primer for, that's also part of the reason why I wore the primer for pore filling, because I wanted to make sure that everything just looked as good as possible. So to finalize my makeup, I'm going to take the Makeup Finishing Spray by Skindinavia. Alright guys, it is now 6:10 in the morning, and I have on Supermodel lipstick by Charlotte Tilbury. So I made this foundation shade work, and this is what it looks like. It feels very lightweight. It looks really pretty and blurred. I am liking it so far. Obviously the shade is not my shade. It wasn't working for me. Overall, I really do like the way that this looks. I think that it looks really smooth, pretty. It gave me beautiful coverage right from the get-go. Obviously, the shade was off, but it looks really smooth on my skin, and it isn't emphasizing any texture lines. It feels really lightweight. I am definitely digging it so far. So we'll see how this wears. I will not be touching up. What I will do, however, is take a little bit more of this Jouer powder and just hit my T-zone, because this is where I tend to get a little oily. The other thing is I always do this after setting spray, because I find that if I spray my face, then everything just looks a little too dewy for my liking. So I like to go in and just hit my T-zone one more time before calling the day for my makeup. So I'll check in with you guys throughout the day and show you guys just what this is looking like. I hope that you stick around to see how this bad baby wears. I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Alright guys, so it is now 8:08. It is 14 hours of wearing my makeup and I'm ready for it to come off. But guys, look at how freaking good this foundation looks. I'm gonna actually turn this light down a little bit. It's come off just a little bit around my nose, a little bit on my chin, but overall this looks so good. The coverage is there. It's looking a little bit heavy around my mouth. But my blush is on. Everything is still really intact. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. So I'm going to wear this foundation a few other times, but so far I think we've had a really nice start. Again, the shade is a little light, but I mean, I made it work. So I felt like it didn't darken. When I initially put it on, like I just felt like it still looked really light. It didn't all come together until I went in with my powder. But I'm going to wear this again for the rest of the week because I have quite a bit of product. And I should be able to wear it 3-4 times to really see how this works. But so far I am very impressed. So long wearing, very lightweight, beautiful. I'm impressed. So I will come back and give you guys my final review. I will not be posting any more clips of what this looks like throughout the day because I feel like today was a really great opportunity to wear it. I've worn it for 14 hours. It was one of those days where I was running around like a psycho and I was perspiring, and I think it was just the perfect day to try this out. So far so good. And if you guys are curious about what my final thoughts will be, then let's go. All right, guys, let's talk details. This is the Airbrush Flawless Foundation by Charlotte Tilbury, and this has been a pretty amazing product to wear, honestly. This is really long wearing. I think that's always what impresses me most, is how long it wears and how beautiful it looks. It looks very natural. It wears exceptionally long, and it's now 5 o'clock, so I've had this on for 12 hours. And as you guys can see, it's worn off a little bit around the nose, a little bit around the mouth area, but overall it looks really good. And I purposely didn't want to touch it up because I want to show you guys just how beautiful it looks. I will tell you guys, the first time I wore this foundation, I felt like it was a little dry. And I used products to kind of help blur any pores, control oil. And I have found that if you're normal to combination, or if you're combination, you really don't need anything to control the oil because this stuff is so amazing that you don't need it. And if you add it, it's just going to make it feel a little bit more on the dry side. So even though my skin felt dry, my skin looked flawless. It looked so smooth. You didn't see any texture, and I don't have texture. I always say that because whenever a foundation is really dry on me, I'm combination. So if it's really dry and my skin is not at its best, which when I first wore it, it wasn't at its best, you can definitely see texture, and that's just the dry skin. But this stuff is amazing. I thought this is 7.5N, that this was going to be too light for me because as you guys saw in my demo, it looks really fair on me. And I thought that what kind of made it work was the Jouer powder, but in reality, today I wore it without any powder other than the Fenty Beauty banana powder. My skin, it looked good. It didn't look like I had on a foundation that was too light, and then I didn't realize I forgot that step until I got to work and I was like, oh, it probably looks really light, and it looked beautiful. I am incredibly impressed with it, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, if it wasn't for the fact that I have so many new foundations, I would be buying this now. Now, this is a full coverage foundation that's meant to look and feel like skin, and I agree with that. I do think that it looks very lightweight. A full pump will give you instant coverage. I like to use a pump and a half, and I use my Juno & Co. sponge. If I use a brush, I feel like I need more product, whereas when I use a sponge like the Juno & Co. sponge, I find that it gives me instant coverage and I need less product. So this claims to have skincare benefits, so it's supposed to improve your skin the longer you wear it, and it's an all-day long-wearing foundation. I totally agree with that. This comes in 44 shades and it retails for $44, and it's a fluid ounce. Considering that it's supposed to be skincare and makeup, I think that's a fantastic price. I can't speak to the actual skincare benefits because I haven't worn it longer than 3 days, but I will tell you guys that it's amazing and I highly recommend it. I feel like if you're super dry, you may not like this, but I do have a friend that has purchased this foundation and really enjoys it, and she's definitely on the drier side. So I guess if you play with your product and really hydrate your skin, you should be able to wear it. But honestly, it's super beautiful. You get instant coverage without it looking really heavy or it emphasizing any texture on the skin or looking like you have cake face. So I absolutely love this. I highly recommend it, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please be sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment down below letting me know if you've tried this. I'll talk to you guys soon.